very easy to take your work and steal it or listen to it, not pay for it. How does that affect your work?
Piracy is the new radio. That's how music gets around.
And so
that's the real world for kids. They want something, they hear it, they grab it, they put it on their device. What I'm saying is that's the radio. And if you really want to hear something that you captured that way, if you really want to hear it, let's make it available. See, when I started making records, and what I remember as music making and recording and the art of recorded sound, we had 100% of the sound. This is the 21st century. You have 5% of what we had in 1978.
But who's going to produce that?
Some rich guy.
I think you've been to almost every one of our D conferences.
I have, almost.
You're taking notes, you're asking good questions, you're networking with people. I mean, you've always been really interested in it.
Well, I personally have been was an early adopter of computers, first of all. I'm in that club. 1982, my first IBM with the desk and all those horrible accoutrements that we had. And I try very, very hard.
They didn't call them accoutrements at IBM. I had a cat. My cat did not have a Martha Stewart litter box, though, I have to say.
If you got a cat now, you're going to get
I'm not sure I would have been, I don't know. Would the cat know it was a Martha Stewart litter box?
So comfortable and nice, yes.
Oh, I see,
okay. All media companies have to be on their toes for the fact that the world is changing rapidly. I think the play is the thing, i.e., content. Having great content is important. Wireless is useless if you're hitless. That's one of our great sayings.
So what do you mean by that? Wireless is useless if you're hitless?
Crap content is crap content no matter where you're getting it. Good content survives no matter where you get it.
Most of the big media companies were freaked out by YouTube. They created Hulu to deal with it. But most of them all now have seemed to reach a détente. They've figured out some way to do business with YouTube, and YouTube takes their stuff down. You guys are still suing them. You're in a lawsuit that's gone on now for 3-4 years?
I said from day one, on the first day I filed that we filed the lawsuit, we said we're willing to settle it. That was on day one. But now there's a principle that I think the final litigation helped establish that involved getting content owners permission to carry content, particularly long-form content. And so we're waiting for the decision on this one legal issue. We'll see where it comes out to establish firmly that principle for all companies to come.
You both represent probably the best of American entrepreneurship and business ingenuity.
We met at Starbucks headquarters up in Seattle.
So you went up to pitch Starbucks on this?
I went up to meet with Howard and the team because there was a realization that we should explore working together closely. And once we met and once we talked, we not only saw that we could do some really interesting things on the technology side, but also the core values of the company is really matched up quite well.
There's a big opportunity to leverage this technology across small businesses in America, which, as you know, really account for about 65% of job creation in America. It should be unacceptable to every American that there's 14 million people unemployed, that we have a housing crisis, that we're spending $6.5 billion on the presidential election cycle, that we're spending $2 billion a week on the war in Afghanistan, and we're in a significant deficit of $16 trillion in debt. We are going in the wrong direction.
Have you used Twitter?
You know, I've been asked that so many times I'm so embarrassed every time. I do not, but if I don't change it, I think Jack is going to shoot me.
So Jack's a very passionate advocate. He converted Rupert Murdoch in December, right? Personally,
I did, yeah.
Convinced Rupert Murdoch, which has every public relations executive in this building scared to death. I don't know what is your pitch. I mean, Howard's a very busy person. Why should he spend his time on Twitter?
I think the biggest thing to start is you don't have to tweet to get value out of it. You can see instantly what people are saying about your company, your culture, your brand, your thoughts. You can see the pulse of the planet immediately.
It's politics season. Yes. Traditionally, this is a big boon for all sorts of companies. What does it mean for you guys? Are people buying political ads on Twitter?
Yeah, so gosh, I really think 2012 is going to be the Twitter election. Candidates that don't participate on Twitter while the debates, while the conversation is happening, will be left behind. Because tomorrow morning it will be too late to react to what was said the day before.
Is it important for you guys to get to China eventually?
We're blocked in Iran and China. Okay? This has nothing to do with Twitter in China. We're already 100% blocked in China. I don't think the current environment in China is one in which we think we could operate.
There is going to be an IPO for Twitter at some point in the future. The mic still works.
I choose not to answer that question.